So the idea was transforming this into something that was dynamic and we could just fetch data from Firebase and input data to Firebase within this chat. So one piece missing on this chat is some place that we can input message, right? We didn't have time to put that, so we are just gonna read for today. And this is gonna be a challenge for you to do at your home. Build this other part, okay? And I'm serious. I want to see emails, lots of emails next week. Hey, here's the chat. So we have all this stuff over here. Each one of them is a paper material element that has like elevation, has some properties. This is a custom element. We have like paper toolbar on our page. We have this iron icon. We have menu. We have toolbar. Those are all Polymer. Whoops. Those are all Polymer things, right? And they're all different elements that you could just play with that later, next week, or whatever. And so the first thing that I thought would be a good idea was, instead of repeating this, we should repeat this dynamically, right? Based on what data we have, we should repeat this dynamically. So what I did was just removing all this and this section as well, and creating a my chat element. That's the first thing I did. Then I created this file and I imported my file. And I imported Polymer. I imported the paper material because I'm going to use it internally. And I tried to use the Firebase element. So this element is, you could find this on the elements, the Google Web Components. They have the Firebase element. This one is actually pretty cool. We have like collections, we have the Firebase collection, and we have the Firebase document. Not sure where it is. Somewhere. But we have these two elements that we could just use. I tried using them, I couldn't. I was like, oh, I need to finish this, so I just went right with the API directly. So I'm just gonna remove this. So I got the Firebase API like you did last week, right? Not last week, the week before. I don't know when. But we got the Firebase API and moved that style back to right to my component. So I have all my styling here. This is repeated. And what I used is this DOM repeat utility from Polymer. So this guy is one of the DOM data binding helpers that Polymer provides. So besides DOM module, you also have DOM repeat, you also have DOM if, so you have those things. And they have this items attribute, and I'm mapping this to an element, to a variable that I'm creating on my element. So I have this elements.messages, which is empty, and now I'm just using the Firebase API like you all did before. I'm getting my Firebase reference, and I can first see if this is going to work or not. So maybe I needed that thing. Cool. So this is all I need from Firebase. Pretty awesome. I'm just initializing my Firebase, object, and then on value, whenever I get some value from Firebase, I'm just showing this off. And here's my Firebase database. I have like some of those keys, and I'm just gonna console whatever is coming. So I got this object over here. Hey ya, booyah, blah blah, yay. So I got all this. So I'm just gonna, this is like really, really awesome. I'm just setting the property messages to whatever comes from Firebase, and then I'm using this here, and then I got this. For some reason I got this extra one, not sure why. Okay. So if somebody sends a new message, it's gonna appear on my chat. Could also remove a message. Oh, not showing anymore. So that's pretty cool. And then you can improve that, put like timestamp, who sent that message, instead of being an anonymous chat, something that you log in and you put your user and you do all that stuff.
What's your dollar?
Mm-hmm. Cool. So I don't know about you, but I had a great week with you guys. It was amazing. I learned a lot of things. Hopefully you learned one thing or other things here. And thank you, like whatever feedback you want to give, if you like it or not. So what are the highlights for you for this week? What you guys liked or not?
Polymer.
The Polymer part, you liked it?
I liked how it turned out, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than the other stuff. And I was always trying to like show the hard part and then show, hey, how we can do this in an easier way.
It seems simple because you taught us everything else leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
That by the time we got to it, you'll compare with what we've been doing before.
Mm-hmm.
Made it seem simple afterwards. So it's the opposite, I think.
Awesome.
I mean, other people agree?
Good.
Yeah, but I'm glad you did it the way you did. I think it's good for all of those other ways of doing things. I think it is appreciated.
That's awesome. Yeah, I wish you could have more time with Polymer. There's a lot of stuff that you can dig in on the website, like styling. This is pretty cool. You can use CSS variables to style stuff. It's pretty awesome. They have behaviors, which is another cool stuff. You can fire events. You can listen for events with Polymer. So that's pretty awesome.
I also feel like I have a much better understanding of JavaScript than I did before we started.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes more sense now.
Yeah, I realized that most of the times when you were having trouble with, like when you were doing the web components or the HTML5 APIs, we were always, like all the errors were related to JavaScript and not with the API usage or with web components itself. So it was nice that we could like see the pain points and figure it out.
I can't really think of like when you ask, you know, what stood out for what we learned. I can't really think of like one thing like, oh, I really enjoyed learning. I mean, as soon as I said that, the first thing that came to mind was, you know, using the IFI, and that was the first time I've ever kind of done that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that does stand out to me is just like I just really appreciate your expertise and your ability as a teacher and how you're able to sort of plan, you know, what you're going to show us and how you're totally flexible. So based upon where we're at, you were able to adapt and give us just what was right for us at the time. So, you know, I really appreciate what stands out to me is that this was a great week of learning, and a lot of that has to do, all that has to do with your teaching ability. And Versus, you know, like sometimes I've had teachers in my life, it's like, I don't want to go to that class, I don't learn anything, you know? So it's great having you here, man. That's what stands out to me.
It's awesome. Yeah, it was pretty challenging to come up with those stuff. And like the weeks before, I was freaking out. I was like, 40 hours. Like, this is so much stuff.
It's a lot.
This is gonna be like all I know. I'm gonna say it in 1 hour, and that'll be all. Really, I thought that I wouldn't have like the first day I would give everything I know.
Sorry guys, I'm out. You don't need to see me paycheck, I'm just gonna go home.
Yeah, it's like.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah. Yeah. So.